Hey YouTube, how you doing? I'm John Wilkins. A lot of people call me the core coach. Here today with Grace Conrad, one of my clients for a really long time. And what we're going to attempt to do today is explain softball. All right, she's a pitcher, and we're going to explain softball and how her training has helped softball. All right, in her pitching. So, Grace, introduce yourself. Tell everybody how long you've been here.
Okay. I've been here since 8th grade, so this is my 5th year here. I'm a Division I pitcher at Fairfield U in Connecticut, and I have significantly grown as a pitcher and overall athlete since I've been here. So
Awesome. So one of the things that when you first came in, you were like a little bit more serious than everybody else, right? So because when we worked out, you were like kind of like a mother hen. You know what I mean? Like you had your stuff together. You were in direction. You were doing the stuff that you're supposed to do. You know if you had to go, you went. You moved people out of the way. You know things like that. Tell us how. Well, tell us mainly when did that happen? Were you like that your whole life, or?
no, not at all. It kind of happened like as I decided that I wanted to like further my athletics. So that was
And at
around
what age?
when I 12.
Okay,
Like so
awesome.
like kind of like 7th-ish grade.
Mm-hmm.
I decided that like I didn't know if I was good enough, but I really wanted to do it. And I was kind of the kid who was never like the best athlete on the field. I was a little bigger when I was younger. I was never like fast or the strongest. Like when I came to you, I was definitely not the strongest. But I just decided that meant that I had to work that much harder to like get to where everyone else already was. And that's kind of like what I did when I got here. I decided that if I was going to come, I wasn't going to take it like lackadaisical. I was going to go really for it and do what I needed to do.
Okay. And what about like the sacrifice of your whole family? You know, like
Yeah.
I know softball is like all over the country. You know, you get on these teams and you meet in California.
Yeah.
Tell us how that is with the family dynamics.
It's definitely tough because I have two other siblings. I was lucky because I was the youngest. It wasn't like that my siblings were being like not paid attention to because I was the youngest by like a decent amount. My brother is 7 years older than me, so by the time that I was even like starting softball like seriously, he was, I think, already graduated and in college, or like about to graduate. And then my sister kind of just like went to school. She played soccer for a little bit, but just like high school, and then ended up quitting. So for my family, like with my siblings dynamic, it was tough, but not as hard as I've seen like with other people. Just because as much as I did get some of the more attention, because it wasn't even just traveling, I pitch every night.
Right.
So I pitched 6 nights a week. And then before I drove, I think the majority of the time that I've been here, I wasn't driving. So my mom was coming and picking me up from school and bringing me right here. So if my siblings needed something, she was already like doing something for me.
Right.
So it was definitely tough with that. But it was good because everyone was really understanding that this was like my dream, and that we were just doing what like had to be done for my dream. But also we tried to like have my siblings come with us sometimes. So like my sister and brother came to tournaments. My last tournament, which was in Myrtle Beach, we kind of treated it as a vacation. So like everyone came. So that's kind of just how we did it.
Yeah. And then sometimes like your brothers and sisters, how old is your?
My sister is 3 years older than me, so she's 21.
All right. So when they were driving and they weren't like in college for the summers or whatever like that, did they help you get here?
No. My sister probably did it like 3 times. But she usually was pretty busy with other people. So like, plus my mom at that time was able to bring me because of like the time. So we didn't really need that much help with it. When we needed it, she would help, but like.
Now, question, like when you presented this to your family, did you say, I'd like to sit down and talk to everybody, or you did it individually, or you did the parents first and then the parents told
I think it was my parents. Like when I decided, like I was pretty young, so it wasn't really taken that seriously. It was like, oh, okay, like she wants to play in college, like
Let's see what she does.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like we can see if she actually wants to.
Right.
And at that point, I was already doing like the pitching 6 times a week. Like I just wasn't adding like the working out portion of it. And that's like I think the year after that is when I started. So like 8th grade, I think I started here. And it was kind of just like one tournament when it was done. A lot of my teammates like were talking about like at the last games that like they wanted to just lose so they could get out of the tournament and go to like the beach because we were in Florida. And I just remember saying to my parents like, I hate this.
Yeah.
Like I want to be on a team where people want to be here because like I want to be playing. And that's kind of just when I was like, so I want to like step it up. And I think then from there, my parents just kind of told my siblings like, Grace and us are going to be pretty busy in the summers, like, because I was going to in the fall and summers, like multiple states. It was really rough, but it's like what we needed to do, and everyone understood it.
Right.
Yeah.
So now, once you did that, and then you started coming to me, what did the actual training do for you?
I'd say the training, as much as I already had like the want to work, it gave me like the capability to be as good as other people and then be better. So like my first part of it was getting to the level that other people were at because I was just physically weaker than some other people at that age. And I was able here to get to the point where I got stronger than them. It grew my legs, it grew my entire core, it grew my stamina. So like a bunch of other people that were working out were kind of just building muscle. And the good thing about coming here was it made me be able to go through a 7-inning game like easily. When before like, and I still like encounter people who can't do that. And this is like, you don't stop, you keep going. So as much as I'm like dying by the end of it, like my legs are shaking, I'm also out of breath and sweating like crazy. So for me, like I'd say it built my stamina, it built my overall strength. And honestly, like it just built my love for the gym and like the work ethic. Right.
Which is cool because when you build stamina, strength, and all that stuff, once you encompass all of that together, that builds endurance, right? So if you came in and we did planks or plank walks and stuff like that, you do like 6 or 7 feet and I see your form go away. We keep going, but I know your form stops 6 feet, you know. So the next time you came in, we try to get to 8 feet, then to 10 feet, then to 20 feet, until all the way around this room is 70 feet. You know, so that builds endurance. So in order for you to pitch from the first inning to the last inning, if that's what they're going to have you play that day, I need to have endurance. I need to be able to make these muscles last longer. And that's what I find is what people are doing wrong, is because they're doing repetitions. You know, and if it's one rep takes a half of your motion for pitching. So then where do I get the rest? Do I stop and continue the last rep? You know, the last part of the motion? It doesn't work that way. So what we do is we try to get into these positions, use the core. And, you know, my wife and I travel the country, and we've been in all kinds of places. I can't even list them. And I ask people what their core is, and they go like this. And I just look down. Because I'm not actually training the athlete and coaching the athlete and teaching the athlete. I'm teaching their trainers, and they don't know. So that's like a horrible feeling. No wonder this kid, and he might be really good, but he might be good because he's, you know, blessed, you know? But we want to take that blessing and we want to keep building on it exactly the way you did. Imagine a high-level athlete with your mentality to get better. But normally what they do is they rely just on their athletic ability and how they are now, and they don't actually move on to that next level. So that's what we want. We want to teach those people that there are so many levels to this thing, and we want to keep going through the levels till we're actually great. And the one thing I noticed was, even you came in a little bit more serious, like efficiently, and throughout your life, you've actually gotten better throughout your life, not just training. So tell us how this training helped other aspects of your life.
I'd say the big part that it really helped, weirdly, was like my academics. Because it kind of just having that routine of like waking up, going to school, and then knowing Monday, Wednesday, Saturday I was coming here, I just built like that routine where I knew what I had to start doing. And then like because I was already coming here, I'd say like most of the people here are pretty serious about what they're doing. And becoming serious with that turned me into a serious person all around.
Right.
So at school, like I was never like a bad student, but I turned into a great student.
Right.
Like I started taking AP classes and I was able to like really focus on it. And even if this took 2 hours out of like a weekday from homework, it didn't actually, because then I went home and I was just like so focused. Like even if I was dead, like it just had me focused.
Right.
Because
which is what parents want.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, and I don't know a lot of people who like go to the gym and aren't overall more focused person. Like for some reason it just like, at least for me and with people that I've met, the people who do that type of stuff like are working out on their own or coming to like a trainer like how I'm doing, or like when you're at school working on your sport on your own, they are just overall like with their entire life, with their sport, with their school, even with family and friends, just so focused on it.
Right.
Yeah.
So we talked about family dynamics and all that stuff. Grace, tell me, this winter, how are you paying for me?
I'm paying with money that I have from like a job I just recently got. Me and my mom are sometimes doing like half and half splits where like she'll pay one day, I'll pay the other. And yeah, like that's
which is pretty awesome, right? Because you have a vested interest in what's happening.
Yeah.
Right? You're not relying on mom, not relying on dad. You're relying on yourself to get to that next level. So that's kind of like that push off where you were 12 years old, then you went through high school and all that stuff, and now you're in the kind of a mode where, look, I'm going to go that next level, right? Because now you're in college, right? So you still got to do the same thing like you did. So everything we've done so far is where your dream came.
Yeah.
And it's not the end of your dream, it's actually the beginning of your dream, right? So for you to actually say, and that's why I asked you about other aspects of your life, is you're contributing to you, right? Which is then what college is, and then after college, you're gonna have to go to work and make money and pay for things anyway.
Yeah.
So I like that transition, I like that dynamic in your family and stuff like that, and everybody's on board, and you bought in, So that's pretty cool. That's interesting. I wanted to make sure I pointed that out. Because not everybody does that, and I feel like if you put money that you work for, you're gonna come in here and work like that. And a lot of kids in my gym do the same thing. Not mom and dad paying for it. They get jobs. They come in here and they say, "Hey, I did Uber Eats or something like that, or whatever whatever you're doing, driving a pizza place or Pizza One over here, whatever you're doing to make some money to contribute to what you want in life, And I feel that's pretty cool. Now let's shift gears a little bit, and we want to actually talk about your actual workouts. So these are some of the things that I don't know. I can see it if I took video of you and I say, okay, the way you push off in that motion is that exercise. So we just did a speed hop, single leg deadlift speed hop with the finisher bar. Tell me, and throughout your motion of pitching, what would that actually help?
It would help with your initial push off, but also when you're finishing, like after your whip and your knees are driving together, helps with that, because when you're down and bringing your leg back and you have to swing back up, it's that momentum to keep going and go out.
Okay.
So when you're actually landing, you kind of have to push your leg to swing to get you there, like get your full body forward into that like ending position.
Right.
I kind of like explained that weird, but like
that's all right.
Basically when you land, like your leg has to just like finish, and you kind of think about your back knee hitting your front knee. And I think kind of the swing into the jump helps with that, and obviously the initial push off with swinging back and jumping off.
Right. And that initial push off is a high plank walk, is that dorsiflexion. It's that push off. It's like toes to nose. It's like toes to shin. And then once that happens is we're lengthening the gastroc, the soleus, going into the Achilles, so then I can extend that foot all the way to my tibialis muscle. Once I'm able to do that, I have perfect range of motion. Then I have push off, right? So now we're driving further out, right? So in that, we got the hamstring insertion, and glute, right? And the speed hop is also that.
Okay.
So when is your leg lengthening through that motion? The hamstring.
Oh, it's basically lengthening first with your push off. It would be for me because I'm a righty, my left leg that's pushing out.
Mm-hmm.
So then my back leg would be the one that's like flexing with my hamstring.
Taking a load, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And then the last part of it is once that I'm generating all that power from the ground through my feet, through my legs, through my body, the hand isn't really doing much.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
it's
then
really
why
not
does
your hand
everybody
at all.
hold, ice on their shoulders afterwards?
Yeah.
Because we have that disconnection with the lower
rough
body.
mechanics. Yeah.
Rough mechanics.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's so funny. I watch these baseball players. They come out and they're giving like a press conference after the game, and they got like all this ice on them. Like, maybe the ice is necessary, but how much of it should be ice, and how much of it should be better mechanics? Like if I'm generating all this stuff from the ground and through my body, my arm is just like a means of transporting the ball from my hand to the mound.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I find that that's what we're lacking. We're lacking all of that core strengthening. We're lacking the dorsiflexion. We're lacking that time under tension. And like you said earlier, like you can pitch 7 innings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, could you pitch 8, 9, 10, 11?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I have in the past.
Yes,
So yeah.
but that's the overtime thing,
Yeah.
right? So after we finish the game, just like every other sport, when we finish that game, do we have more left? And it wasn't because you saved it. It's because you built it up.
Yeah.
And you built it up to have excess, right?
Yeah.
And that's the most important, So, another question I have is, how is college going so far?
Pretty good actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been really good where I've been able to like get into a routine. It's gonna be a little different with the second semester because of like the games that we're playing. Because with fall ball, I think we played 10 games, but now we're playing 56.
Yeah.
So it's a big jump. But it's been really good. I'm someone who really likes the schedule, so being able to just like wake up for our 8 a.m. lift, go straight to practice, and then I know like none of my classes started until 12.
Okay.
So like we'd practice from 8 to 12. I'd have like usually a 30-minute break, and most of my classes were 12:30 or 1. And then I was done by like 5 every day. Then after that is when I'd either go to where like our indoor pitching is called the barn. So I'd either go to like the barn or the field if it was warm out and do some like long toss or pitch like into the net. And it was really good. Like I love it there. First of all, I love everyone on the team.
Nice.
It's really good.
Nice.
And I just love playing. So honestly, like the place is great for me, and the entire atmosphere is perfect. Yeah.
And it's so tough because how do you know? You know what I mean? Like you go to a school, you get a feeling, and you're like, oh, I love this place.
Yeah.
But do we actually really know if we love it or not until we actually get there and go through it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So how did you know you were gonna love this place?
I feel like I was like the case of, I probably could have been like a little more open-minded with different schools. I was very closed off to other divisions. I really like, now if I went back, I probably would not have been as insane about being like, I'm only going Division 1. And it ended up working out for me, but like I could have closed myself off to some schools that I might have really loved. But for me, I went to a ton of camps, and every camp I always made sure that if they didn't give us a tour, I went on a tour.
Right.
And I was kind of the case of like, I said I loved everywhere, and now that I look back at it, I did not love everywhere.
Right.
I just like wanted to play softball there. And now that I'm like actually in school, like you actually have to really like the place, because if I hated the place and only wanted to play softball there, I'd probably be going insane right now.
Right.
So when I went to Fairfield, it was like the first school that I really like, I understood like what actually loving a school was. I not only thought the place was beautiful, but I could actually like envision myself spending like my days there.
Right.
And like a good case for me was like JMU. I like said like, oh, I love it here. And now that I look back, if I had to go to school there, I would not like it.
Okay.
It was like way too big. It just was not in the type of like atmosphere I would have wanted to be in. It was too far from home.
Mhm.
Like I really like that I'm only in Connecticut. I've come home a few weekends.
Okay.
And like the overall like vibe of the campus, how like the size of the campus and the people really matched with me.
Oh, awesome.
When at other schools, I know that it wouldn't have been the same. So for me, it's like knowing, do you want to be in a city?
Mhm.
Do you want to be in a smaller campus?
Mhm.
Do you want people that are like you?
Right.
And if so, like that's why I stayed closer to home.
Mhm.
And ultimately, like I really got lucky with finding
And
a
it
school
was
that
great
I loved.
that a Division I school is
Yeah,
close to
that
home.
definitely
You know.
ticked to mark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So how much of a role did the coaches at the college played in you going to?
Probably more than it should have.
Mhm.
I know you're like, everyone is like, you should not pick for a coach because coaches always leave. And for me, my coaches were not the main reason I chose. Again, like I love the school. I really felt like I would have fit in there. But my coach, Coach Brzezinski, is an amazing woman.
Mhm.
And from like the second that she started talking to me, I feel like a lot of coaches kind of, especially in the process, you're a 16-year-old, 15-year-old girl.
Mhm.
I was 15, and I felt like jerked around by a lot of coaches
Okay.
who were kind of like, I understand it's a process and they're talking to other girls, but like as a 15-year-old girl, it was really tough to like have a school reach out to you and then be
Right.
completely ghosted.
Right.
And I get that that's the process, but
It doesn't have to be though. I don't
no,
think.
like there were like just some coaches that I did have a few that were just like, hey, like we went in a different direction, like good luck with everything. And that like felt good to at least be like, okay, now like I know what's going on. But my coach, like the entire time, I just had a feeling about her that like she, oddly, like I kept saying to my parents, she's the one. Like she's the one for me. Like
right.
I know like she's great. And even the assistant coach, she's not our assistant coach anymore, but she works at the school.
Okay.
So we see her a bunch. Like it's just they made the team like feel like a family.
Okay.
So that definitely
That's
was
really important.
Yeah, it was a part for me. I wouldn't say it's my main part, and I would not suggest anyone to just pick for the coach. Like if you don't like the school, don't pick the school because it's the coach.
Right.
For me, it was just convenient that I loved the school and the coach.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Awesome. And then so I ask everybody this. Okay, if you were to pitch to anybody, whether they retire from, from softball or playing softball right now, who do you think, big time, you would want to pitch to? Just see what they can do against, or you could do against this person.
I have someone in my mind, and I know what would happen because I would have no chance. But I just think it'd be awesome to be like, oh, I pitched against her.
Yeah.
Because she, like, 100% is the best hitter right now. Do you know who Jocelyn Allo is? She played for Oklahoma.
Oh, yes.
And she beat, like, the home run record. I know what would happen. Like, I know that what would happen.
Yeah, right.
I probably wouldn't stand a chance. But I think that would be really cool to just say that I played against that level.
Yeah.
Like, I try my best, but she's awesome.
Is she?
Yeah, she's amazing.
Nice.
Yeah, she's really good.
Now,
she's pro right now.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Where is she pro?
I want to say Sparks. At least, I'm not 100% sure though.
Oh,
I think
okay.
she is there though. I kind of watch a lot of college. We're not subscribed to any of the, like, pro.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know why. But we love college softball. So
yeah, right. So who's in your division? Who's your rivalries?
We play Canisius, Niagara, Manhattan, Ryder. Way more than that. Marist, Siena, Iona.
Okay, those are good divisions.
And Sacred Heart.
Yeah, those are good divisions. Yeah.
Sacred Heart's basically in Fairfield. They're like right on the edge of Fairfield.
So in the beginning, I got that mixed up.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, you're going to Sacred Heart.
Yeah.
Because I didn't.
That's like, I feel like the more known school. I didn't hear of Fairfield before the coach reached out to me, but I knew what Sacred Heart was.
Right,
so I get that.
Yeah. All right, so are you hitting in college at all, or are you just pitching?
No, yeah, I'm a PO in college.
All right, so the question was, who would you love to pitch to? Now, out of all of college, who do you think you could strike out? Somebody major.
Someone major.
Yeah, just because the way you pitch.
Okay, wait, let me think. Try to think of someone who prefers inside and not outside because I got a really good curve.
And I think that's why the school loved you.
Yeah, they
right?
really liked they liked that I had a changeup, like a good changeup. They liked my curve. At the time that I got recruited, like my curve, like it still is like the same or better than it was, but like compared to just other people at that time, like no one could touch it. So for that, like, because I'm not the fastest on the team. Like I'm probably one of the slowest, if not the slowest girl on the team, but I have really good movement and I can hit my spots. And I would like to say I can read batters pretty well. So like situational, I'm pretty decent with pitching. That's a really good question that I don't think I've ever thought of. I don't know who I could strike out. That's like major.
Just your movement, the body of the ball, the way it hits.
I can't think of her name, but she plays for OSU, and she's their 3 batter.
Oh.
And I cannot think of her name.
That's all right.
But
so OSU 3 batter.
Yeah, their 3rd batter.
And what makes her? What makes her that person that you could?
She's really good, and I really love the Cowgirls. Like I love watching them. I don't know. It's just a feeling. I feel like whenever I've seen her hit, I've noticed like something. Like I can't remember exactly what it was. Pretty sure it was a drop in her swing that I could kind of get at the knees, and my curve doesn't just like curve. I can kind of get my curve to drop or have a little bit of a rise on it. Right. So I think I could kind of trick people up with like that.
That's cool. That's cool. So along the lines of that, right? So do you prefer like somebody on the mound that's taller?
Like pitching wise?
Yeah.
Like if they're like a tall girl?
Yeah. If you're pitching to a tall girl, a short girl.
Oh,
where's
so
your success?
Hitting.
They're hitting. Yeah, I meant that's what I meant.
Honestly, probably tall. But that also gets a little scary because those are the girls who like are usually hitting it out of the park.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I really have a preference. For me, I definitely like righties more than lefties.
Okay.
But tall makes the strike zone a little easier just because they have a bigger strike zone, like bigger span. But I also, like, I don't know if I really have a preference. I don't know if I've ever thought about that either.
Did you ever get up there and say, I'm going to strike this girl out? Yeah. Easy.
Yeah.
And then she hits one off you.
Yeah. There's definitely, like, especially in, like, those games that, like, you put under the pressure and, like, you really got to show up. There's been times that I'm like, oh, I got her. And I do have her. Yeah. And then there's been times where I'm like, oh, I have to have her.
Right.
And
oh, gotcha.
You don't have her. But like I feel like that's really just a mindset thing. Like you have to go out there to everyone and be like, I'm gonna strike you out. And if you don't, like, fine. Like
right.
It's okay.
You gotta
like,
have amnesia
the next
too,
person
right? You gotta have amnesia.
Exactly.
You can't dwell on that.
Because then you're just gonna lose every time if you're there and someone just got a hit. You're gonna give everyone else a hit. Like if you're like, oh, I'm gonna strike her out. She hits something. Just like same thing to the next girl, but mean it. Like. It's not just like, oh, like, I'm going to strike you out. Like, you're going to strike her out.
Right.
Like, you have to